Fundamentals of Chinese 2, Unit 2, Calling a Friend for Help, Understand It. Grab a pen or pencil and turn to pages 160 to 161 in your book and take notes as we go along. As you may have guessed from the video, Leo gives Wang Peng a phone call and she is asking for something. The dialogue starts off with Wang Peng having already answered the phone, and Leo says, 喂，请问王鹏在吗? So this shouldn't give you any problem at all. Pause if you need some time to think about what this means. Hello, excuse me. Is Wang Peng there? You've seen all this before. This should not have given you much trouble. Wang Peng responds, 我就是，你是李友吧? So here we see a new particle at the end of the sentence, ba. And ba is a particle that you can add at the end of a sentence, kind of like adding ma at the end of a sentence to make it a statement, to make it a question. You can add ba at the end of a statement to express your certainty in that statement. So Wang Peng can tell by her voice that it's Leo. So he says, you're Leo, ba. And the ba is expressing his certainty in what he just said. So what does it mean? 我就是，你是李友吧? Pause if you need some time to think. Hopefully you came up with something like, it's me, you're Leo, right? Okay, and remember this jio expresses exactly or precisely. Is Wang Peng there? Oh, it's me. Right? I'm Wang Peng. I'm the one you're looking for. 我就是，你是Leo吧? You're Leo, right? Now, a warning, do not take this character ba and just stick it anywhere you want to, thinking that it's going to mean right. You're best off paying attention to where it's used and then mimicking the way you see it used. So in this case, you see it at the end of a statement, and it adds some meaning to that statement by expressing the speaker's certainty in what they just said. Okay, Leo speaks again, and in this sentence we have quite a bit of new stuff here. Let's take a look. Leo says, 王鹏，我下个星期要考中文，你帮我准备一下，跟我练习说中文，好吗? Okay, so there's quite a bit in here. First being 下个, okay? 下个 means next, and literally it means below. So, for example, talking about, well, here, 下个 meaning next, and so you see right here you have 星期, which you will recall from an earlier lesson. 星期means week, so you have next week. So in expressions of time expressions, in Chinese, imagine time flowing from top to bottom. So time begins at the top and it flows down, down, down. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So 下 literally means below. So you have week 1, and then below week 1 you have week 2, below that you have week 3. So you think in Chinese time, they're saying the week below, because in their conceptual thinking, time is flowing from top to bottom in this case, at least linguistically. So 下个 literally meaning below, but it translated properly into English means next. So we have next week. I next week. 我下个星期. What you want to do right now, you can pause, or after you finish watching this lesson, you can turn to pages 163 and 164 and spend some time studying grammar note number 4, where it goes over time expressions, and there's a lot more there than I'm going to go into here. So you'll want to take a look at that. Okay, let's move on. 王鹏，我下个星期要考中文. So you know 考, try and recall that. 中文 is new. So 中文 is simply another way of saying Chinese, the Chinese language. 中 here is China, and wen is the character for written language, writing. So 中文 together means Chinese language. Now, it doesn't mean just the Chinese written language. It means Chinese language in general. Alright, next in this sentence, we have 帮. So 王鹏，我下个星期要考中文，你帮我. So we have you and then I, or me, and then something in the middle, so you know that must be a verb. And indeed, the verb help. 帮，你帮我. So that should be pretty clear what that means. 你帮我. And now, in English, we say, you help me to do something. Can you help me? And then we add a verb. And so the same thing is happening here. This right here is some sort of verb. 準備. Let's have a look. 準備. 準備 means to prepare. 你幫我準備一下. So 準備 means to prepare. So maybe you could pause for a second here before we move on and just recap what we've covered. 王鹏，我下个星期要考中文，你帮我准备一下. See if you can figure out what's going on up to this point. Alright, next we have 跟我，你帮我准备一下，跟我练习说中文好吗？跟 means with, its first tone, 跟. And when I'm listening to your recordings, I'm noticing that 跟 isn't, you should be pronouncing 跟 with a high-pitched noise in your voice. 跟, like you're trying to, like intentionally try and create a high-pitched 跟, high-pitched sound when you're pronouncing the first tone. 跟我. So Leo here is saying, with me, do something. So what does Leo want Wang Peng to help her with? Alright, next we have 练习. 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 练习 means to practice. To practice. 王鹏，我下个星期要考中文，你帮我准备一下，跟我练习. Alright, so practice doing what? Alright, next we have 说. 说. And 说 means to say or to speak. The remaining part of this you should have no problem with, 中文 and 好吗. So you should have enough now to piece together what this sentence is saying. 王鹏，我下个星期要考中文，你帮我准备一下，跟我练习说中文好吗? So pause if you need to and think about what that means. Write down what you think it might mean in English. And let's hope you had something similar to this. Hi Wang Peng, next week I have a Chinese exam. Could you help me prepare and practice speaking Chinese with me? Now take a quick look at this sentence here in English and realize that if you were going to take this English sentence and try and translate it directly into Chinese, you'd end up with a mess of a sentence. So pay close attention to what's being said in English here and look at how it's being expressed in Chinese. Okay? So you'll want to be careful with that when you're doing tests and exams in this class. That be careful that you're expressing things the way Chinese express them, not the way we express them. For example, we have with me here at the very end. Could you help me prepare and practice speaking with me? Okay, but here we have the with me at the very beginning of this clause. Okay, where it must go in a Chinese sentence. So try and become aware of how Chinese express things and notice how they're different from the way we express things. Okay, Wang Peng says 好啊, and we see this here. 好啊. Okay, so is another kind of sentence final, and it just expresses some exclamation. So if you remember the video, when Wang Peng said 好啊, he says it, not really like he's excited, but like, yeah, that's a good idea. 好啊. The is expressing his positiveness towards the idea. For example, if he was busy or he didn't really like Leo, but he felt like he needed to be polite, so he was going to do it anyway, then he might just respond saying 好, kind of 好. Okay, yeah, I'll help you do that. But he doesn't just say 好. He says 好啊. So by adding the he's into the idea. But it appears that Wang Peng has some conditions, which is in this last part right here, where he starts off saying 但是. 但是. 但是 means but. 但是你得请我喝咖啡. 你得请我喝咖啡. Now, we still need to cover this day, but you should be able to pull apart what's happening here, right? 但是你得请我喝咖啡. Right, so you know this last part here. So what do you think this day means? So day means must or have to. 好啊. So he's agreeing to help her prepare for the Chinese exam. 但是你得请我喝咖啡. So what does this mean? What does Leo have to do in exchange? Sure, Wang Peng says, but you must take me out for coffee. Now, if you think that's bad, wait till you see what's coming up. Alright, in this next piece, so Leo responds, 喝咖啡没问题，那我什么时候跟你见面？你今天晚上有空吗? Okay. So all of this here you should be able to get. What's this 见面? So 见面 means to meet up with or to meet up. Now 见面 doesn't here. Remember, it doesn't just mean meet to meet someone. It means to gather or to meet up. So, 喝咖啡没问题，那我什么时候跟你见面？你今天晚上有空吗? So you should be able to to figure this sentence out now, pause this video and think about what it means and write down, if you'd like, if that helps, in English, what you think a good translation. So we have take you out for coffee, no problem. So when can I see you? Are you free this evening? Okay, now if you didn't have exactly this, that's fine, but you know, something close, because remember, we can't translate literally. We have to, and there's some things in here that don't translate literally into English so well. Now pay attention to some of this word order. Then, I, when, with you, meet. Yes, that's quite different from English. When can I see you? Or when can we meet? Or when can I meet you? But in Chinese we have I, when, with you, meet. Okay, very different word order. So you basically have to memorize these forms of expression in Chinese, because if you try to just take this, when can we meet, or when can I meet you, if you try to take that and just put it directly in the Chinese, you're going to have some difficulties. Okay, so take a look at this, what Wang Peng says. 今天晚上 Bai Ying'ai 请我吃饭. So I wonder if Wang Peng pays for any of his meals or drinks. You should be able to decipher this sentence. Pause if you want to think about what it means. This evening, Bai Ying'ai is taking me out to dinner. 今天晚上 Bai Ying'ai 请我吃饭. Well, how does Leo feel about that? 是吗? Bai Ying'ai 请你吃饭. And this is pretty straightforward. You should be able to decipher this. Pause if you want to first think about what it means. Is that so? Is one way of saying it. Or really? Really? Is that so? Bai Ying'ai is taking you out to dinner. 是吗? Bai Ying'ai 请你吃饭. Okay. So Wang Peng comes back. 对. 我回来以后给你打电话. Okay. The only new piece of vocabulary in this sentence is this 回来. 回来 means to come back. To come back. To return. To come back. So Wang Peng says 对. 我回来以后. Notice the word order here. 我回来以后给你打电话. Pause and write down what you think this sentence means here. And I'd like you to do that because this word order here is important. That's right. I will call you when I get back. Okay. So actually here we don't have when. 以后, you remember, means after. So that's right. I will call you after I get back, or when I get back, or after I get back. But this 以后, the after, comes after return. So in English we would say, after I return, I will call you. But in Chinese it's I return after, give you a phone call. 对, 我回来以后给你打电话. So in Chinese, whenever you're saying after something, that something goes here, and then the word after goes after that clause, that section, the phrase that has the activity that you're using as the reference. 对, 我回来以后给你打电话. Okay, this shouldn't present much of a problem for you. Leo says, 好, 我等你的电话. 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 So this 等 you should recall from last unit. Pause and write down what you think this means. And hopefully you came up with something close to, okay, I'll wait for your call. 好，我等你的电话. And that concludes this lesson.